Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby. I'm going to be doing a college weekend in my life. I have about an hour and so until I'm going to have some lunch so that way I can have lunch before I leave for work. I wanted to show you guys the book that I'm currently reading. I started this morning and it's called Love and Other Words. So far it's pretty good. I also just finished the 7-Year Slip, which I absolutely loved. If you guys have not read it, definitely go ahead and read it because I did hear about it through 2 recommendations from people that I follow on social media. I kind of went into it not really knowing a lot about it, which I feel like that's the best way to do it because it was such a heartwarming, wholesome, heartfelt, sad. It just made me feel something, and the minute I started to read it, I quite literally was like, this is going to be my favorite book of all time, like as a standalone romance book. Absolutely love that. I'm gonna sit down on my desk and do some homework until about maybe 2 o'clock so I can have some lunch, and then I'm gonna take my dog out. She's currently back here asleep. I'm also on my period, so I feel a little bit. I'm gonna get some chocolate, more specifically some peanut M&Ms. So we're gonna have them at work so I can just munch on them. Oh, this lighting is great. There we go. So you guys here real quick because I'm just gonna get my iPad and my charger because I'm gonna go have some lunch. It's about 1:45. I rather kind of prepare what I'm gonna have now than wait a little bit. So let's go into the kitchen. I'm actually thinking of having some plantains and then some rice and egg, which is a weird concoction to kind of have. If you were raised with Hispanic parents or just raised by a Hispanic family in general, I feel like the mixture of rice and eggs is very common in Latin households. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm all dressed and ready to go. I'm heading off to Trader Joe's and Target, so let's go. I made it to the second stop of the day. I'm here to grab some Joffrey's coffee, which I didn't know it was a Tampa local thing. I thought it was only an Orlando thing. I'm gonna quickly show you guys what I got from Trader Joe's. I got their roasted garlic hummus potato pancakes. I've had these before. I also had the hummus before and they were all really good. I mainly went to Trader Joe's to look for their soup dumplings. They didn't have them in stock, which is really sad. I got their mac and cheese bites. I got their hash browns. I got a mild salsa. And the last thing that I got, any chicken tacos. I'm gonna go get a coffee. I'm gonna go get Shake Shack for some lunch because I'm hungry. And I was gonna wait to go get Chipotle, but then I'm like, that's kind of too far. And I have the coffee place here and the Shake Shack place here. I feel like I should have brought my book. This is my lunch slash early dinner. Did end up getting their Shake Shack sauce because I've never had it before, so I'm very excited to try it. About to do my first exam for my humanities class. 40 questions to get through in about 40 minutes. Should be pretty simple. It doesn't look like anything is kind of recorded like on your screen, so you're able to have notes, and it's also a study guide with it, so that's really nice. So I'm going to look at my notes, look at the vocabulary that I have with it, and then take the quiz, because the quiz is actually due today before midnight. I am done taking my exam. I got a 70, which is pretty good, which is like a C. I'm done with this week's work. I think what I'm gonna do is just chill for a little bit. I'm gonna have some lunch soon because I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, but until then I think I'm just gonna read my book. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I am starting a new book. It's called Love in Other Words because I finished the 7-Year Slip a few days ago. That one was the best one solo romance book I've ever read in my entire life. If you have not read it, definitely go ahead and read it. It's gonna be one of those books that I feel like I'm gonna recommend it to basically anyone. I'm gonna put all my stuff here away and then continue to read my book. I'm going to be talking about my January and February wrap up to kind of conclude this video. I did end up reading 4 books and then I listened to 1 audio. The first one that I listened to was Everything I Know About Love on Spotify. If you have Spotify Premium, you're able to listen to audiobooks on there for free, which is so nice. That was my first ever audiobook that I ever listened to and I absolutely loved it. I would listen to it on the way to work almost every single day. I thoroughly enjoyed it because I loved how the author was retelling her memoir. I didn't know that the author was actually based in England, and so she's kind of retelling her life in her memoir. I would highly recommend it to anyone in their 20s. It's definitely going to be one of those books. Once I have the physical copy of, I don't have it with me at the moment. I do want to display it and I do kind of want to share it with other people who are around my age. I believe I started this at the end of December, but I finished it in January, which is, that's the wrong book. Oh gosh, which is A Court of Winds and Ruin. I started this at the end of January and then I finished it in February. It did take me a little bit to get through because these are chunky books. I did read this on my Kindle. I eventually did get all the physical books after I read them all. I think they all just look really pretty next to one another. I rated this book 4 stars. I honestly kind of don't really remember what the premises of this book was. I just know that it was more war heavy compared to anything else. And then right after that, I read this little novella, A Court of Frost and Starlight. This was such a cute and easy read, especially when you have 2 really big books in the middle of it. And this took me a couple days to get through. If it wasn't because of school, because of work, I probably would have read it maybe 2 or 3 days. It only has 229 pages, so it's fairly short. But I just thought this was really cute and a nice little, like a really good baked good in the mix of a dinner. I would say, I don't really know. I did A Court of Silver Flames. This one was my favorite book of all the 5 ones that she has out at the moment. I really loved this one. We got a little bit more of a character development from Nesta. I absolutely love the character development, the way that she grew from the beginning of the series to now. I'm really intrigued to see how the story is going to continue. This was my favorite book of all the series. I know that a lot of people like the second book because the last fourth of the second book is really good and it's really twisting and you kind of don't really expect it in a way. It like builds up to even more. When I tell you I was reading this book in between the first couple chapters and I was like, this is by far my favorite. I devoured this book. I don't think I've ever read a book this big and as fast of a pace as I did. If I was having lunch, if I came home really late from work, if I had an hour to spare between things that I was doing, I was reading this book because it was just so good. I really want to know what's gonna happen next. I'm so excited for the other books to come out. I know we have 3 more. The last book that I read in February was The 7-Year Slip. I did want to read a book that was out of like fantasy and kind of like a one standalone book because fantasy is fairly long and it's kind of hard to get into because there's so much world building and there's so much characters that you don't really know. I just wanted something that was completely 180 to what I was reading. I did start tabbing it. I do need to go back and tab the book a little bit more. This has been my favorite book that I read as a standalone romance book. This has been my favorite book of all time. Like I generally think I'm going to recommend this romance book to everyone because it is so good. It's so whimsical, it's so magical, talks about grief, it's a little sad. I did cry at the end. It's such like a lovely story for anyone and everyone to kind of read about. One thing that I took away from this book is it's not about the perfect time, it's about the perfect timing, and that is something that I think is going to stick with me for the rest of my life. If I could reread this over and over and over again, I would. Those are the 5 books that I read in the month of January. February, I do want to do these at the end of every month, kind of talk about them. I am going to be posting about the books that I read in the month on my Instagram and on TikTok. They will be linked down below if you guys want to go and check them out. I am currently reading Powerless on my Kindle at the moment. I'm 42% of the way through. Right now, we're kind of at a really good, nice, juicy point in the book. I'm very excited to finish it. I really hope to finish it this weekend. On my TikTok, I might make a video about which book series I want to do next, because I have all 3 books of the Knockout series, and then I'm just waiting for one more on the Magnolia Park series. If any of you guys have read those books, let me know which one I should read next. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Bye!